Greetings, my fellow African brothers and sisters, and welcome back to Inkari. It's time. I'm Kondus, your host. Today we are diving into a fascinating political phenomenon, the African National Congress and its enduring power in South Africa. Despite facing intense criticism and numerous failures, the ANC remains a dominant force. How do they do it? Let's break it down. The ANC has been at the helm of South African politics since the end of apartheid in 1994. Their legacy is deeply intertwined with the struggle for freedom and equality, which has earned them a place in the hearts of many South Africans. But in recent years, the ANC has faced significant challenges, including accusations of corruption, mismanagement, and failing to deliver on their promises. Yet they survive and often thrive in elections. Here is why. But before we do that, let's watch the following clips.
Now what deliver group by group to put us together. Anyone was coming out. If they find that they shoot you and you are still alive, the other boys they come with the axe and pangas. They push you. The hands. Our brothers are. It is very badly. It's bad. It's bad. I'm even thinking to resign to Johannesburg.
Then you had Kgalema Motlanthe, one of my favorite presidents also in this country. A few years ago, he was on BBC Hard Talk, not so any TV, he was on BBC, meaning telling the whole world that this place is so hopeless. They have to lose elections in order for it to be renewed. Kgalema Motlanthe, with all his stature, he brought himself to say, these guys must lose elections, meaning ANC, in order for those who are there for wrong reasons to leave, so that the ones who are true to the ANC can stay and rebuild it and renew it. What has changed? No. He's also stomping the ground. He's campaigning for the ANC. So the elders, they have thrown away their role, their sobering role, where they're supposed to tell the truth and stick by it. No. They tell the truth today, tomorrow they're changing their minds, they're stomping the ground and so on. Can you believe Matthew Posa? Go and Google Matthew Posa, ANC corruption, and see how many papers Matthew Posa has delivered at universities, at functions, saying the ANC is a hopeless case on corruption. Today he's very dismissive. No. What Jenny doesn't have potholes? Oh, of course, in this country, yes, you can say that. What road doesn't have potholes? Because of the incompetence that is all over the show. No, but he was using it as a metaphor. That no, NC has problems like any other person. No, don't you have problems in your family? Today I want to just deal with the ANC. You might have seen that the ANC trolled out. I think that's the correct way. They trolled out their elders. But to fellow retirees in fellow over retirement, but encourage you to vote the ANC. Now, I'll tell you what, I've got a slight difficulty with that. You know, in a family, there are elders, there's grandparents and so on. And those people become, they are expected to be above the fray. So if, you know, at home you got a difficulty, maybe in a marriage or whatever, you go to the elders, you go to the uncles, the same people who, when you got married, you send them to the family to say, you know, go and talk to that family, etc. So there's always a sense of wisdom that is assigned to elders in a family. So you tend to take them serious. Sometimes they may say things that may feel archaic. You say, yeah, but I mean, you know, for example, they could say something like, yeah, you know, if a husband doesn't come home, don't ask him where they were. I mean, that's crazy. You know, in the day and era, first of all, you'll be worried why they're not home. Secondly, they've got to be accountable. But they could give you advice that says, no, don't say, man, don't ask too many things. There's no water, there's no electricity. And so, I mean, there's a village in Northwest called Tswaying. A sewage is running down to the graveyard. I mean, that's the worst thing that can happen. So you have $70 while you are alive. Even when you are dead, your shit follows you to the graveyard, okay? But they still vote for the ANC 68%. I mean, what else do you want? Or what's the worst thing that must happen before you change your vote? So I think there's still that thing about historical, no, we want to put power of the party of Mandela. Please don't bother us with these other people.
Isn't that the old generation?
It's the old generation, but there's a bit of the new generation that also thinks so. Because when you say new generation, what are you talking about? You're talking about somebody who's 20, 35, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's a long range, right? So overall, you have the old generation. I mean, you saw the veterans coming out. Yesterday, I talked about the veterans on my show. And the ANC people were not happy because I said, these guys are liars.
Yeah.
I know in African tradition, you don't say old people are lying. But these guys are liars. You know, Mbeki comes out to say, these people are crooks. How can I campaign for crooks? 2 months later, it says, please vote for them. They will change.
Yeah.
When they will change. You know, Mbeki was the first person to talk about ANC renewal. As far back as 2002. He called something like, we need a new cadre. Now I say, I was still waiting for that cadre. Kgalema Motlanthe talked to BBC saying, these guys must lose elections in order for them to wake up. Because as long as they don't lose elections, they are not going to change. Because when they lose elections, the crooks will leave. Because there's no longer patronage. And the ones who are real about the ANC will stay. Go and Google Matthew Posa. And in the last 5 years, how many times he has talked about ANC corruption? In lectures, in functions and what? You would think this guy has resigned. Like Trevor Manuel. You know? You think he's resigned. You say, I'm leaving. And now he's on the street saying, yeah, no. I mean, every road has potholes. Yeah, of course. In South Africa, every road has potholes. But he's trying to say, don't be too hard on the ANC. They've done so well. And these are elders who are supposed to call order. Mbeki wrote a 17-page letter, which I doubt half of the NEC read it. But nevertheless, 17-page letter saying you are abusing your power, you are not holding the president accountable. And then in the same sentence, the next 3 months, he says, vote for these same people.
That makes no sense.
So yes, and of course, last one before I get off, Mbeki and a gentleman I respect called Dr. Serote saying, if the ANC doesn't win elections, the sky will fall. I said, the sky didn't fall in the Western Cape. I know they've got problems, but the sky didn't fall. Everywhere else where the ANC lost elections, there may be chaos here and there, but the sky did not fall. In other words, we'll still have a government, even if it's not of the ANC. And you cannot tell people ahead of an election that, if you don't vote for the ANC, the sky will fall. So basically, why are we having an election? We're having an election so people can choose. And we are in this freedom so that we can be free to unchoose those we don't like. Let me just give you some statistics. You're saying there's no masturbation. There's masturbation. Don't know where you live. 14 million people go to bed hungry every day. 14 million. That's why there are parties that are saying, let's establish food banks. Okay? So there's masturbation. To just get that right. Secondly, right, 68% of young people are unemployed. 68%. That's more than half. Okay? We're the most unequal society in the world. Not as a slogan, as a World Bank report. Now, all of these things, and I can mention more, including the fact that only 14% of people have proper healthcare, access to healthcare. You may hate the idea of NHI, but it's trying to, maybe it's going about the wrong way, but it's addressing a massive inequality. Right? Now, all the combination of all those things are a time bomb. Okay, and we are fiddling here while Rome is burning by thinking that we can just continue on this path. We need to be able to say, how do we move away from the current path, right? And I believe that, forget about the EFF, I believe that a combination, right, of people from different parties, and that's why I always argue for a government of national unity. There are great people in the DA, believe it or not. Okay? There are fantastic people in the EFF who are educated, who are clever. I mean, if you look at Dr. Ndlozi, Floyd Chivambu, those guys are educated. They know what they're talking about, right? I wouldn't doubt their qualifications, right, and what they are trying to do. There are great people in the ANC. right? Who some of them have not even been given a chance to contribute to this country properly because there's factionalism, there's this and this, right? Now, if you bring even 2 or 3 of these big parties together, none of them can then insist on their own policies as they are.
Outright.
First and foremost, the ANC's identity as a liberation movement gives it a unique legitimacy. Many South Africans remember their pivotal role in ending apartheid and associate the party with the hard-won freedoms they enjoy today. This legacy creates a strong emotional and historical connection that newer parties struggle to match. This connection to the liberation struggle is powerful. Figures like Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo are more than historical icons. They symbolize the ANC's enduring promise of hope and resilience.
In fact, if you look at what we want to do and to in a sense quell this pending time bomb, you need a little bit of your EFF and a little bit of your ANC, because actually their policies are not far apart.
Yeah.
The ANC was formed for land. They just failed to do anything about it for 112 years. That a compromise can be struck
In the middle there.
But what cannot happen is to leave the things as they are. And I given just the other day I was asking Groeneval from FF Plus. I said, Groeneval, let's leave the big scary things, land. You know, people are going to, the investors are going to leave. Let's just talk a case study. I'm an Afrikaner, right? My land has been handed to me generations. I've got 30 hectares, and I'm not joking, of land. But I'm only using 2. Literally. I mean, 2 hectares is a big place.
Yes,
piece of land.
Okay.
I'm using 2 hectares. I've got a farmhouse here, and I've got the farm. I'm planting avocado trees, and I'm exporting on 2 hectares. The other 28 is lying fallow. Why can't you hand over that 28 to a central port that can be distributed to those who are starving next door? He couldn't answer me. No. If the ANC is in power, I'll never hand it. Or you see now, he's going off on a tangent. I'm dealing with a principle here that says the issue about expropriation of land, which is already in our constitution, is not a fluke. It's addressing this kind of greed. There are people with land they are not using. Some are abroad. They even forgot. They don't even know where the land starts and ends. Right? There's no way in a country where 14 million people are starving, you can sit on 30 hectares of land which you are not using. And we must think that's fine because China has allowed property. People can own as they please. No, we need to find a medium here to say, actually, South Africa needs a mixed economy. We're not going to get away with saying it must be free market and everybody must just do as they please, or it must be communist. We're going to have a medium. Why? Because no voter has given any of these parties a blank check. That's all I'll say on the EFF in terms of seeing the EFF ANC type of coalition to see 2 polar opposites that may come to the center, right? Whereas these ones of DA, Moonshot and what, they seem to be happy with the status quo. They're saying, no, don't touch our property, don't touch our land. No, go and use state land. They're talking about a Karoo land that's dry there, where not even a peanut can grow. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about serious land here, right? That can be used for the collective good. And then you can work out the mechanism that works. But you can't be so scaremonger.
Next, the ANC has extensive grassroots network. Over decades, they have built a robust organization that reaches into the most remote areas of South Africa. This network not only mobilizes voters, but also fosters a sense of community and belonging among its members. Local branches often provide support and resources to communities, strengthening their loyalty to the party. These grassroots connections are vital, especially in rural areas where the ANC's presence is often the most tangible link to the government.
They say no, right? Because I don't know what gets into them. One of the veterans, and they will remain nameless, said to me, hey, we are from this lying campaign. He was talking about the veterans going up and down. So I talked to one of them. So I phoned him to say, hey, Chief, what the hell? He says, hey, we are from this lying thing. So they know that they are lying. It's not me just giving them a label. They know that. How do you look at our people after 30 years of failing them and say, give us another 30 years?
Another factor is the ANC's control of state resources. As the ruling party, They have significant influence over public institutions and resources. This control can be leveraged to gain support, whether through public works, social grants, or other state benefits. While this control is often criticized as patronage, it undeniably plays a role in maintaining the party's support base. The opposition's fragmentation is also a key factor. South Africa has multiple opposition parties, and they often fail to present a united front against the ANC. These fragmentations dilute the opposition vote, making it easier for the ANC to maintain its dominance.
The foundation laid by this group over the past 3 months has laid the foundation upon which a new government can be built, one which is stable and that can address the pressing needs of all South Africans.
The 7 political parties in this charter have come together to keep the ANC out, keep the EFF out of power, and provide, importantly, a new alternative to rescue South Africa in 2024.
The people of South Africa are not happy about how our country is governed. Almost everything is falling apart and going from bad to worse. This is why the people of South Africa must speak loudly and clear in 2024 and say enough is enough.
Without a strong, unified alternative, many voters stick with the familiar choice, even if it comes with known flaws. Lastly, the ANC's adaptability has been crucial. Despite internal conflicts and public scandals, the party has shown an ability to adapt and reinvent itself. Leadership changes and policy shifts, though sometimes contentious, help the ANC stay relevant to the electorate. This adaptability, combined with loyalty of their core supporters, give the ANC resilience in the face of adversity. In conclusion, the ANC's survival can be attributed to its liberation legacy, extensive grassroots network, control of state resources, and fragmented opposition, and its ability to adapt. Whether these factors will continue to sustain the ANC in the future remains to be seen. But for now, they explain why the party remains a formidable force in South African politics. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more in-depth analysis of political dynamics around the world. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on the ANC's resilience. Until next time, stay informed and take care.